Hey there, Byrand here, and welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about Record of Grancrest War, Episode 17, Two Heroes. Now, this was a very important episode, and I really enjoyed it. Even, in fact, in the first 3 minutes, there was so much important information. Like, one of the things I mentioned was Milza's plan, which was to pretty much replace the Iramu mages and usher in the Age of Lords. But he hypothesized that Theo sensed there would be the Age of the People, and Milza doesn't like that. So it really shows a lot about Milza's character, like, because he would always ignore Tellius's advice, which I actually been making a lot of mistakes lately. Tellius is actually the contracted mage for Marine. He's just serving under Milza. So I apologize about that, but I digress. Now to get into the most important things, and that is the battle. Milza decides to charge head-on into the treaty army. Which, as noble as that sounds, it's also pretty stupid. Because, well, they have so many more men than you do. Like David, like from last week, we found out he had 30,000 troops. Like, okay, that's basically... You go to, like, say... In today's world, that's about the average size of a suburban town. If not at least half the size, depending on the state. And that's a lot of freaking lot of soldiers. We found out that Selge comes to Theo's aid as well, but really to no accord. We don't really see him do anything. Because when he gets there, Milza has already pretty much passed through so many men. Like so many barricades that seems kind of useless. Of course, there was that same one lord that is always against Theo. Do I have his name written down here? No, that's not it. I can't remember the character's name, but it's that same lord that's always going against Theo. He's doing it because Theo's a commoner. And he sees that this new age is coming, he doesn't have a spot for him. So, like, we see that, like, I'm thinking that he's probably going to become the next villain. Like, sure, Marine's still alive, and she's kind of like the antagonist, but it would be kind of be jumping the shark to jump right to her. Like, okay, here's a guy that doesn't like Theo. And Theo might be the next head of the treaty. Like, he's probably going to do everything he can to stop that. But I digress. Now, we get to see more of Theo's character. Like, he's ordering his volunteer army, like those that are not actual soldiers, like basically just everyday citizens, to pretty much leave. Because it's dangerous, but nobody's willing to leave. Like, the humans of Alturk, the werewolves and vampires of the Forest of Eternal Darkness are all saying, no, let us fight. We have stuff to protect as well. Like, and I was surprised, like, okay, the werewolves and vampires are willing to work together? That's a pretty big surprise, because, like, we learned that back in the beginning that they were kind of at ends with each other. In fact, now that they're pretty much willing to fight and die together, that's just... I don't know what to say. That's just an amazing development. And this just shocks Theo. Like, he doesn't know that there are people willing to die for him. Like, he's wanted these people to leave. But they're not willing to because they want to help him. They want to serve him. They want to fight and die for him. And I don't know what to say about that. But eventually the battle between Milza and Theo begins. And I gotta say, this was a really intense battle. My blood was just pumping and rushing through my veins. I had to pause it just so I could calm down a little. I might end up going and watching that fight again. It was so good. And of course, Theo fights how he usually does, and this really pisses Milza off. Like, oh, he's not attacking, he's just defending. Eventually, like, Milza finds out that all of his men have surrendered. Well, his surviving men, that is. A lot of his men do die. But basically, all of his soldiers have surrendered. Lastic and Selge are running up to Theo. Well, they're riding up to them on the horses, but you know what I mean. And Mills is on the ground, out of breath, using the sword just to stand. Eventually, Mills flips his attacks Theo, and Theo knocks the sword right out of his hand. And Theo pretty much gives him an ultimatum: your crest or your life. And well, Milza doesn't want to surrender, so he gets a sword to the neck. Yeah, so Milza's dead. And I gotta say, it was pretty satisfying seeing Milza die after everything he's done. Like, granted, I think there could have been a much better way, but if I had to choose between him either surrendering and living, I would rather choose his death, because just all of the awful things he's did. Like, this was definitely satisfying, and he definitely had it coming. And after seeing this, Tellius, stricken with grief, commits suicide by ingesting poison. Like, maybe he'll survive, because, like, we know Laura did and survived, but who knows, maybe Tellius will actually stay dead. And Tellius had nothing really, well, actually Tellius did have to fear, because he's not Milza's contracted mage, so he technically still could have been killed. But as long as Theo and Sluka don't know that, they probably wouldn't kill him. Eventually we see like a darkness core appear above Milza's body, which represents his crest. And Theo looks at Selge, who pretty much just closes his eyes, smiles, and nods his head, pretty much acknowledging that he is going to allow Theo to take Milza's crest. Now this is important because it is thought, well, yeah, because it's clearly stated that Milza had Vilar's crest. Or at least he possibly did, because like because Marine was there when he died, but it's not really stated who truly has it, but it's implied that Milza did, and by Selge allowing Theo to take it, Selge is basically acknowledging Theo and his strength. Because like Vilar was more important to Selge than Theo. Selge and Vilar were brothers, literally. While Theo, it was basically just served under Vilar. I gotta say, this really shows a lot about Selge's character. Like, it shows how much like respect he has for Theo, and I'm really interested to see more from him. And finally, we also get to see that how Marine finds out about Milza's death, and she's not happy about it. Unfortunately, I forgot to look up what the next episode title is called, because I looked away for a few seconds and before I knew it was gone. But I have no idea what's going to happen. Overall, I would give this episode about, yeah, definitely 5 stars out of 5. I loved this episode. It was very intense, very satisfying, and just very good. If you enjoyed the video, why don't you hit that like button And if you're new to the channel, click subscribe. And when you do, make sure you turn on those notifications so you can join the guild. Byrand is out of here.